Karl Anthony Towns needs to come off the bench. What we just witnessed was the start of the best series of the playoffs in 2024. This is going to be more entertaining than watching the finals. Why? Because we have the best player in the league, Nikola Jovic, being guarded and locked up by sixth man of the year, Naz Reid. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness, look, I had a whole video that I recorded before this where the audio got screwed, but if it hadn't got screwed, do you know what I would have told you? Do you know what I would have told you? I would have told you Naz Reid is going to be the most pivotal player in this entire series, and that is including Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, oh my goodness, and Aaron Gordon, who on the Nuggets is the most pivotal player in this entire series. Do you know why? It's because he is the perfect matchup for Rudy Gobert. I have a question. I'm not even going to get to Anthony Edwards yet because I need to get through some things before we start giving flowers. Okay. Chris Finch, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Did you not see what I saw? Which is Rudy Gobert cannot guard Nikola Jokic. He cannot. It's okay. Do you know why? It's because this Denver Nuggets team is so solely dependent upon this guy. His name is Aaron Gordon, who spent a few years over in Orlando working on this playmaking, shooting, attempting to be what Detroit Blake Griffin was, but is one of the most hyper athletic wings that we've seen in the league, sitting in the dunker spot. And what does that mean? What does that mean? That means if you go from here to here, there's an open little lob lane that Jokic throws every single time. Every single time Aaron Gordon is on the damn floor, that's what happens. Now, what is so curious about your defensive scheme? I know you're going to fix it. I'm aware. I fully get it. I'm just talking. What is with this defensive scheme where we allow Rudy Gobert to try to match up with Nikola Jovic when the sixth man of the year is playing defensive player of the year, quality defense on the best offensive player in the league? And no, I do not mean the best scorer in the league. I mean the best offensive player. Mr. Get a bucket for himself. Mr. Take the open shot. Mr. Pass to the open man. Everything that he does is quite literally perfect, except for when he's being guarded by the one and only Naz Reid. Good job, sir. Little golf clap for you, because I humbly acknowledge your greatness. How you can be so... I would describe his defense on Jokic as equally unorthodox as Nikola Jokic and his offense. Think about it. How is it that somebody who doesn't even know how to walk right, Nikola Jokic, is able to get to the rack? It's because he can shoot from weird places. What does Naz Reid do? He's the perfect matchup, because oh my goodness, he's a little undersized. He's about 6'9", 205, but he's able to get under Jokic on those weird steps and really knock him off balance, really get in between him and his center of gravity. And then when he's playing defense, he can keep his arms straight up, unlike Karl Anthony Towns. Here's my hot take of the day. Karl Anthony Towns needs to come off the bench. I said it. It had to be said, guys. It is one thing to get a lot of fouls in one game. It is another thing when you have 5 fouls and when you come out of the game, your team starts to be more successful because this guy named Naz Reid is playing the best defense that we've seen being played against Nikola Jokic. Who's played better D? Do not say Anthony Davis. Do not say Bam Adebayo. Don't you dare say Rudy Gobert. The only person who's played better defense on Nikola Jokic other than Naz Reid has been Victor Wembanyama, the defensive player of the year, the real one, not Rudy Gobert once again, because he can't play defense on Nikola Jokic. Cat, you gotta be a dog, man. You're not being that right now. You're playing like a baby. You're not, but you're just not playing well. Maybe, you know what? Maybe this isn't your series. Maybe we need, what coach was it that told JJ to just sit in the corner? It's not his series. Was it Doc Rivers? Maybe you need to be docked. Yeah, you need to get docked. What the fuck am I saying? Karl Anthony Towns, brother. You need to come off the bench for Naz Reid. Sorry. That's it. You cannot argue with me. Naz Reid played better in every single aspect. He has been playing better. The connection that Naz Reid has with the rest of the players on that court is so much more impactful than what Cat brings to the table. I think the Timberwolves should be trading Cat next year. I know it won't happen. And I know that Timberwolves fans are probably going to tell me that I'm crazy, which is fine. I don't care. You have to move on from Cat, because this is a problem. He cannot play defense without fouling. He's been doing it for 2 series now, and it was only the first game, but it's bad. It's bad. It's a bad look. Yes, we will get to Anthony Edwards in just a second. I'm almost there. This is so good for me. Jamal Murray is exactly who I think he is, and he is a clutch time player. If you can shut him down in the first half, I think you guys will be okay. Now, the problem is if you give him the first half to kind of like open up, know that he will 100% be there in the fourth. He will be there in the fourth. He'll be there in the third. He had a scoreless first half. He ended up with 17 points. That's crazy. That is actually crazy. I mean, Jokic obviously had a really great game. I'll be honest with you. There's not much to do about it. He had 32, wow. Jesus Christ. He had 32, 8, and 9 with 3 steals. Now, here's the thing. He shot 2 for 9 from 3. Why is that? It's because he was being forced to shoot shitty threes. He had one really big 3 towards the end of the game. I think both of his threes actually towards the end of the game. Towards the end of the game, when they subbed Naz Reid out, with 2.5 minutes left to go, they put Karl-Anthony Towns in a couple plays in, maybe 2. You see Jokic coming off of a peel screen up at the top of the key, and of course, it's just a straight line drive right in. It's like, bro, what are we doing? But it's because Karl-Anthony Towns can't guard him for anything, but he still contributed to 41 minutes of Nikola Jokic and him shooting 44%, 11 for 25. Now, let's go back to the man of the hour, the man of the series. What are we talking about? Mr. 40 himself, Anthony, the one and only. They're going to call him A5 here in a minute, like P5 over in Orlando. Shout out to Orlando, bringing it to Game 7 tomorrow. I'm definitely making a video about that. But oh my God, Anthony Edwards is a stud. 25 points in the first half is crazy. And they weren't crappy points. They were great points. Every single point that he scored, everything that he did, proved over and over and over again the entire series that he is the man of the hour, the man of the year even. I'm telling you right now, people are going to look back at this series, the Timberwolves versus the Nuggets, and say, wow, this is the pinnacle of basketball. Why? Because Anthony Edwards is 22 years old, playing some of the best basketball that we've ever seen being played, period, in the playoffs. He is 22 years old, the leader of his team, the number one option of all number one options. It's him and then everyone else. There was a graphic that I saw earlier in the game. Anthony Edwards had 16 points and the rest of the Timberwolves had 15. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Anthony Edwards ended this game 43 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 2 big blocks, shooting 42.9% from 3. That's 3 for 7, and 17 for 29 from the field. That's 58.6%, being the number one option, getting all of the defensive pressure, but somehow finding every opportunity to score. I made a video that hasn't come out yet talking about my favorite players in the league, and the number one consistency that I found were players who turn it up in the fourth quarter. Now, that includes J-Dub from the Thunder, Victor Wembanyama, obviously, but then Anthony Edwards. Now, look, Anthony is a full game scorer. I'm talking about tip-off to buzzer all the way on. Now, I noticed that he gets sat a little bit into the third and he takes the third off, but he doesn't take it all the way off. He usually waits until the end of the third to start warming up for that fourth, so he can warm up a little bit, get a break that few minutes, and then come back in the fourth and actually just destroy the competition. When he says that he wants to kill everything in front of him, it's been made abundantly clear that that's exactly his plan. Oh my goodness. Look, guys, I made this prediction in that video before. Timberwolves in 6. I think the Timberwolves are going to win. And if the Timberwolves win this, I think they're going to smoke the Thunder, and I think that they're going to smoke the Celtics. I don't think the Celtics can handle this. I think the Celtics are great, but I think that Jason Tatum is a fraud. Oh, don't say that shit. Don't be that bold. The Timberwolves are going to beat the Nuggets in 6 games. Anthony Edwards is going to prove that he is an all-timer today. He's going to be the best 2 guard in the entire league coming into next season. He just dropped 42, 7, 3, 1, and 2, 6 for 6 from the line, 3 for 7 from 3, 17 for 29 from the field, and he was moving the rock phenomenally. There was a moment where he got charged with the tech for staring someone down for, 2 seconds. And this is a perfect example of why refs need to be fined for these egregious calls, because on the other end, 2 minutes later, Jamal Murray hits a 3-ball. Great 3-ball, by the way. Absolute stunner of a play. He's on the ground doing finger guns. And there's no tech. There's no tech. There's no tech being called. What is going on? What is going on? Honestly, the officiating for this was just absolutely horrendous, absolutely atrocious. The worst officiating I've seen in the playoffs so far. Anthony Edwards got called for a tech. What is going on? If he's not going to get called for that, you can't call Ant for that. I don't think either one should be called. I think it's playoff basketball. What are we doing? What are we doing? Before that even happened, Anthony Edwards in the first half got fouled crazy. I'm talking about like a straight clear, just chopped on his arms. No fouls being called, but it's because the NBA refs are conditioned to not fall for the flopping. But Anthony Edwards doesn't flop. He doesn't do that. That's not his game. I'm going to predict that for the rest of the series, he's going to have, 12 to 13 free throw attempts. He only had 6 this game, but he definitely should have had at least 10. Overall, I think this was a phenomenal game. A great showing again for the stud that is Anthony Edwards. Again, his stat line is absolutely insane. 42 minutes of playing, 43 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. If I watch the next game and Rudy Gobert is the main matchup for Nikola Jokic, and there's no defensive scheme switch to one, take Cat off the bench and put Naz Reid on Jokic the entire time, I'm going to lose my mind. Well, anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Matthew Gray. This is Stats and Stories. If you haven't already, you've been here long enough, go ahead and hit the like button. It helps me out a ton. Leave a comment. Do you really think that Karl Anthony Towns has any business being in the starting lineup at this point? But yo, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I post my nonsense about the playoffs. But hey, till the next one. Peace.